China's tourism drops. Investing overseas is restricted. Police abduct human rights activist. Declaration on the future of the Internet. Hello and welcome to Sound of Hope News. I'm Liam O'Neill and today is May 3rd. China enjoys a national holiday every year in the early days of May, and it's typically one of the busiest times for tourism. Not so this year, amidst widespread zero-COVID lockdowns. An official from the Ministry of Transport said on Thursday that nationwide air and rail travel both expected to fall by 62% from last year. Beijing has not locked down on the scale of Shanghai, but is restricting activities. According to an AP report, restaurants in the capital are prohibiting dine-in customers from May 1st to May 4th. Further, many parks and tourist attractions in the city are limited to half capacity. The Great Wall and the Forbidden City's Imperial Palace both require visitors have a negative COVID test. Beijing theaters are closed altogether. The capital city recorded 59 local infections on Sunday. Since April 20th, that total number is just over 300. An official from Beijing's Disease Prevention Center said that epidemic prevention is at the most critical juncture. Most of the new cases are among people under quarantine, while some have been found in the broader community. Repeated rounds of PCR testing, that's going on for everybody. Meanwhile, in Shanghai, millions remain restricted to their residences, though city officials are reporting a downward trend in daily cases. 7,200 were reported on Saturday. That's about 1/4 of the numbers from 3 weeks ago. Lockdown measures are varying across the country. Some cities require multiple COVID tests. Others urge residents not to leave home at all. Gavical Dragonomics estimates that 57 of China's 100 biggest cities were under some form of COVID restriction measures as of last week. On April 24th, China's Ministry of Justice issued a notice requiring that any investments made overseas need to follow strict notarization guidelines. It said, all parties are required to get approval from the Foreign Exchange Administration. They must provide certified documentation of overseas work experience or legal sources of income. No alternative methods for the required notarization are allowed. Some netizens are taking the notice to mean that foreign investment is now basically suspended, and that restricting emigration is the real motive. By preventing money from leaving China, they are in fact also preventing emigration, says this post. And this netizen believes that only studying abroad or going on government assignments will be allowed. Readers of Chinese social media will know that netizens frequently play with homophones and word sounds for wordplay on the internet. Recently, the Chinese character for moisturize is an online trend. The first character in runhua, or moisturize, once again, that's run, sounds like the English word run, or run away. Spurred by the strict lockdowns, more and more Chinese are talking of running away from China. This commentator listed recent events that, in his opinion, all point to the CCP's efforts to restrict emigration. A bank executive and fund manager were both banned for their warnings about increasing financial restrictions. Large numbers of financial accounts were blocked, passports turned in, and emigration restricted. The storm is coming and the window is closing, he wrote. What will happen next? Just read the history that followed 1949. That is the year Mao Zedong established the PRC. Shanghai police sent 10 officers to take away Shanghai human rights activist Mr. Ji Xiaolong, and his wife. They had been speaking out for the people of Shanghai under hard lockdown. This is according to social media posts. Mr. Ji posted on Weibo, WeChat, and Twitter. He had drafted a letter entitled, "Shanghai Citizens Petition for the People. Stop the epidemic lockdowns, relieve the hardship, and send help." The document was widely reposted. Later, he organized volunteers in Shanghai to help people, including migrant workers with no residence and people with lockdown-related financial difficulties. Mr. Ji's wife was reportedly released from custody in the early hours of May 1st, while Mr. Ji left the police station later that day, having paid a 1,000 renminbi bail bond pending trial. Again, this news is drawn from social media posts. The United States and 60 global partners launched the Declaration on the Future of the Internet on April 28th. The White House described the declaration as making a series of commitments to defend a global internet, including protection of human rights and fundamental freedoms of all people, and increasing trust in the global digital ecosystem by protecting privacy. Numerous European countries, as well as democracies around the world, signed on. China and Russia did not. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian said on April 29th that the declaration incites division and confrontation. A senior U.S. official said that China and Russia are attempting to create a splinter network that reflects digital totalitarianism. This declaration will hopefully contain it. And that's all we have for today. Please continue to join us for daily China briefs here at Sound of Hope, and don't forget to like and subscribe.